Cool. All right, I'll kick it off. All right, welcome everyone to season 3, episode 11. We have a Halloween edition score builder theme for this episode. So, thanks to you for all the sick animations. Let's jump in. So, key metric, we're at 1,169 passports. No, that's not a meme. It actually is the number. Overview. So, community members of the week. So, Lunacy, thanks for providing great feedback on the app, and that thing of putting the passport holders up front. Corey, just great vibes, supporting all of us, much love. And GN Doc, just staying active and helpful in the Discord and various topics. Keep it up. Hopefully you guys see this. Sweet. So, overview. Last week, had a bunch of really cool stuff happen. Collection of scores ready to go soon, and we'll start releasing what those scores are over the coming days/weeks. We have, this is meant to be this week, but Dio, who's our final hire on the ML side, joined and started today. Last week, we also had discussions about what the next iteration of the app looks like in terms of a Discover tab, passport tab, and a leaderboard tab. So the idea around it is that sorry, I think there's echo on Classicus, your thing. So yeah, and then we've released details about the score builder, which is basically the core engine that powers everything we're doing when pushing out these scores. So the score builder is a really important part because it starts providing much more useful information about your passport. Right now, the passport, you can claim it, you can stake ARC with it, but there's so much beyond that. So this really is a massive step up. And what's cool is we've built this engine, and then the utility start seeing from the scores will become apparent in the next few days and weeks. So yeah, that was super exciting last week. This week, we're aiming to release the first version of the score builder with the ARCx score, which is a protocol score, not to be confused with the native credit score. We're going to be scoping out the next score builder release, which focuses on making the passport highly accessible. So we've been speaking with you guys, understanding more of what you want, and there's definitely ways in which we can make the passport a lot more easy to access. So that's really what our focus is going to be on, especially if we start co-marketing and making more noise on crypto Twitter. We want that to be really accessible. Then we've currently got a business offsite where we're currently focusing in on how we improve our communications, product roadmap, business development, community, and more. So one thing which we're all going to be doing is speaking with more of you guys wherever we can. So I think we've already started reaching out to a couple of you, and really it's we want to make sure that we're building for you guys and we're listening to you guys and giving you more of what you want. So expect to see a lot more of that moving forward. Shout outs, Diego, welcome to the team. Excited to have you on. Sonia, rapidly learning and getting up to scratch with a ton of different stuff. It's amazing to kind of see the progress she's made so far. And then you for just being a gun on the QA process. No bug leaves that man, which is great to see. So thank you for that. Challenges, and yeah, it's really just making sure we're building the right things and with the correct expectations with the community. That's something that I think have not done as optimally as we could in the past, and something that we're committed to changing moving forward. So that's definitely on our mind. And then, as I said before, speaking with more of you and getting as many insights. So expect more reach outs, and yeah, that's about it on my end. I will pass it over to Kyle.
Cool, thanks. So last week, lots of things happened in the engineering world. We solved a lot of difficult tasks. It was a really cool thing to see everything come together. So the score builder, we deployed it on staging last week. We tested it out with the community. We also went live on Mumbai, which is the Polygon test network. We finished up all the documentation we needed to make the score builder accessible to third-party developers. More on that in the coming weeks. We also removed the old landing page. Some of you may have noticed. We now use the app as the one and only website. It's self-sufficient, it's self-documenting. We don't need to necessarily have our own landing page. So this week, we had lots of great feedback last week when we deployed on staging, and so now we're just polishing up the rest of that feedback. We we're pretty much done there, so we want to go live with the store builder in the next 48 hours. Gave myself a little wiggle room in there, but yeah, so we're going to be live with the store builder very soon. We also want to update our infra to allow for free passports in the form of airdrops and different things like that. So that's a cool thing that's coming. We also want to make the app responsive, mobile responsive, and now that things are stabilizing in Mumbai, we want to look into maybe deploying to Polygon. But we'll get to that if we can. So shout outs to the community for helping us on staging with all the product testing. So GNC Doc, Hugh, Liam, thank you guys. There's more people, I can't name you all, but there's a lot of you, so thanks a lot. Big props to the data team. They're crushing scores out like crazy. It's awesome to see. And I'd also like to welcome Diego to the team. So challenges we're working with. Deploying the score builder has a lot of pieces. We need to make sure that we take our time and we dot our I's, cross our T's, make sure that everything's good. We want to also give release dates sooner to you guys in the community. So instead of just saying soon, soon, soon all the time, we want to start saying, this score will be out this date and give you actual concrete dates so you guys know exactly when things are coming. And we also want to provide a good demo environment for the BD folks. We were talking about that earlier today. So having an environment where people can go in and play around and see things that are in the pipeline and stuff is definitely something that we want to. Yeah, it's a challenge that we're working through. So just getting all the specs up there.
Cool. Over to you, Kel, on the data, and thank you, Kyle, for the updates.
Cool. All righty. Hello, good morning, good evening, good afternoon. So, literally in complete contrast to Kyle's last comment, full custom scores coming soon. So, basically, we've built all of these scores in the back end, and to Kyle's point, we're trying to figure out how do we kind of communicate this and triage this going forward, and I actually mentioned that in challenges. But we have all of these scores basically being built and getting ready. All that score building infrastructure is in place. It's really easy to spin up new scores and get them kind of pushing through and pushing along. Other thing that happened last week was we performed a final analysis on the credit score, and Stuart, one of our ML engineers, he's basically rubber stamped it and said, I am happy. I think this is stable. I'm ready for it to be published. So that's very, very cool. We've been looking at it and analyzing it for the last month. So it's very nice that it's at a stable point now. And I'll kind of talk about some of those findings in this week's section. All right. So plans for this week. One thing is just connecting the credit score to that score builder infrastructure. So that's kind of sitting there. We just need to connect it, and we also need to add some custom business logic of, making sure that the thing is stable, making sure that it's not, fluctuating a lot and things like that, and making it increment in logical units, not give a score down to the 8th decimal place kind of thing. So that's something that we're going to do this week. We want to extend the credit score eligibility because on the current credit score implementation, we're noticing that we're not really reaching as many passport holders as we want. And that's because we're really looking at Compound for the most part. And very few passport holders are actually using Compound in the windows we're looking at. So we're extending that, bringing in new protocols, passing new data. It's better for the model anyway, and it's better for getting engagement and eligibility up generally. Other big things is just improving internal monitoring, testing, co-promotion processes in the data squad. We've grown to 5 engineers now. So, I remember only a month and a half ago, it was 1 engineer, myself. So now I've realized that we actually need to have processes. It's not just me writing code. So that's one thing that I'm focusing on, is just making sure that we're getting all of those things together. And then the last one is just unwinding some technical debt. We took out a little bit of technical debt to get to these custom scores and get that all together and kind of solve our unknown unknowns. But we just want to unwind a bit of that and reduce the data warehousing costs. In theory, a full refresh for us is 10 terabytes of data. Again, not working with small volumes here. 10 terabytes of data, that is 10,000 gigabytes of data that we need to process within 10 minutes, basically. And I want to kind of bring it down to about 3 terabytes. So there's some little things I want to do there. Big shout outs. Diego, join the team. We've got basically another engineer, more or less a big data engineer, and kind of a little bit lower down the stack compared to some of the other ML engineers that joined previously. And then also shout out to Stuart. This guy's he came back from being in the bush for a month and a bit. and he's just been pumping scores and pumping pull requests and things. So big shout out to him. He's been really moving the needle in the data team. Challenges. Servicing of data products prior to go live. So I think so I know what this one means. So basically, we're building these custom scores, and we kind of build them, and we somewhat surface them internally, like Kyle and I surface them internally to each other and look at them and play around with them. But what I want to be able to do is start surfacing that out in towards Liam and Hugh's world, so that they have access to it early, and that they could, in theory, demo it and validate things with any of our integration partners. So that's kind of a challenge, because it requires a bit of thinking and coordination between many engineering systems. So that's one challenge that I'm kind of thinking about. And the last one is streamlining the internal score builder experience. At the moment, the score builder is basically like ML engineers writing very specialized code that they're really worried about optimizations and things. And it's a little bit slow and needs a bit of a promotion and a review process. And of course, like Liam can't write a custom score if he wanted to. So I want to streamline that. How do we actually get scores being built ASAP, deployed ASAP, so we can have a nice crunchy cycle, make sure we're building things quickly for any integration partners. That's my update. That's all. I think at this point it is Liam, yeah.
Cool. Community development, CD.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep.
You got some pop up there, Cam. You got a virus on your computer, or Okay, no. I'm calling myself community development this week. I'm trying to get into this new mindset that I'm doing. So anyway, I'll talk about that a bit later. So last week I had 6 new meetings, 4 with new protocols, selling them the vision on custom scores, I'm not calling them new protocols anymore. These are the score builder community. So I'm kind of treating other protocols as an extension of our community. It's sort of a new approach I'm taking. And and then I'm also redefining the scope of what I do, essentially. I think all of us, Kerman, Hugh and I are all sort of rethinking what we do on the business side as well, in the sense that I think I've mentioned this in the Discord, I was very focused. I had a bias towards just B2B sales, which is my sort of bread and butter. But now more and more as we grow, the engineering team, and we're really focusing on product and things like that. I'm pivoting as well, sort of to try and get it to like 50-50, like the meetings that I'm having. I'm not there yet, by the way, but meetings that I'm having is like having as many meetings with community members and users and things like that as I'm having with actual other projects as well. So I'm kind of getting both voices in, and we're working at essentially how do we capture that information in a way where I'm not selling them on what I think, but I'm also like asking questions and kind of feeding in data for us to sort of triage new features and things like that. So last week as well, we sort of reached an initial consensus on the ARCx score. So that's something that's coming imminently, and that we'll be using for our own protocol design, building a lot of new things on top of, and also just sort of put down a lot of structure for sort of the next month of comms. What are those things that we need to tackle? I think and then so then this week, so Hugh, Kerman and I, we're having like a business offsite. So we're spending the week together, and essentially building out what the next sort of 3-6 months, probably 3 months looks like. And then I'm starting to do live demos this week as well. So there's two projects that we're working with that are sort of imminent in terms of the first to launch, that they've gone through the score builder process. So I'm giving them a demo experience in a staging environment, and then from there we'll actually we'll get them across the line and start to do co-marketing. And then, I've already mentioned just the focus of talking to more of our community users. So really the shift for me is I'm going to be much more hands on the product as now it's reached that stage in maturity, and I'm going to be spending as much time as I physically can talking with the community, talking to projects and things like that. I want to do a big shout out to Hugh. So Hugh's sort of ramping up. He's new to the business. He's bringing such a good perspective. Firstly, his energy level's so much more grounded than my like high energy sort of manic craziness, which has its value and has its place. I'm not going to diminish myself, but Hugh's very grounded, very organized, and also just has a way. Someone's ordering McDonald's or something. Hang on, let me mute this person.
I just muted it. Don't worry.
Okay, great. Yeah. So, and also just very good when he's talking to people. He's listening a lot more, and I'm trying to learn that. So, like, Hugh, fantastic. I really appreciate everything you're doing. You're sitting right here, actually. And then so challenges. Yeah, becoming more community led in my approach, as opposed to less B2B sales, which is my background. Improving the product testing process. So I'm going to be a lot more hands-on in staging and things like that, and getting more of you guys that are on the call in our community into early releases of the product. Like, it doesn't have to be a secret, and you guys are all here because you're passionate about what we're doing. I want to open the kimono, lift the veil, whatever it is, and let you guys in to what we're doing and get your feedback as early as possible. And we're also establishing a more sort of bureaucracy, I guess, within the product function to make sure that we've got a more formalized process around product prioritization. Yeah, that's everything from me this week.
Cool, thank you, Liam. Yeah, plenty of exciting stuff going on community development. Hugh, over to you on operations.
Sweet, you guys can all hear me okay?
Yep, all good.
Awesome. So, wow, so much love. Okay, I'm gonna try and uphold that like calm energy in this update. So, cool. So yeah, like last week, couple of things happened. Probably the main one was we published this article introducing Score Builder. Encourage everyone to go read it. It tries to just like lay out the fact that we've really just focused on building this this scalable machine that will build all of these different use cases around scores. What's really exciting to me is that it's being designed in a way that's like quite extensible to new protocols, new use cases, and really like the limit is what we can imagine this these scores to be used for. Which for us, when we talk about scores, we people often think about the credit score, and what's great is that that's definitely this like high value opportunity because it has such close integration with Borrow. But then there is also this like long tail that we're discovering, which is that all of these protocols want different things. Actually, individuals want different things, and this score builder is like completely set up to enable that. So that was the first thing, that article. Second thing, just a couple of like behind the scenes things. We distributed our first tranche of tokens for angel investors, so that went out. You'll see if you look at Etherscan, you'll see this like multi thing that got sent out yesterday or the day before. So that was in train. Then thirdly, this is something that's been kind of like an ongoing process for the last couple of weeks, and it's been continuing with efforts from like Joel as well. But like what we're trying to do is we're trying to like map the user journey for somebody who's completely new to ARCx, coming into Claim a Passport and actually realizing the product value, as well as from a community angle, people who are in the community, maybe like they're stalking, they're passive, through to being contributors and getting engaged. What we're trying to do is we're trying to simplify everything, and so there's going to be like a big uplift that we're going to bring to the experience across those two dimensions, which is around how can we make this product as simple to explain and understand as humanly possible. So that's like the goal there. And then the final thing is QAing the updated upcoming release. So that was basically Friday. This week, kind of flowing off from that mapping of the user journey, one of the big parts, which I've been talking about for a few weeks and haven't really finalized yet, is finishing our updated ARCx Wiki. So alongside the fact that we have now app.arcx.money and no kind of like landing page. What we need to be really good at is like articulating the value in docs super well. So there's going to be kind of an uplift and refresh on that. So hopefully you'll see that towards the end of this week coming. Then secondly, as alluded to, we also have the ARCx score coming out. So we wanted to push out an article that explains, what that is in more detail and gives, an indication for what can be possible with other protocols. And then thirdly, right now we're sitting in an Airbnb, myself, Liam, and Kerman, and we're using like our Mac mics and stuff. It's not very great. It's not very good. What we want to do is research some hardware upgrades for people for live streaming. So better audio, better lighting, better cameras, that sort of thing. And hopefully you'll start seeing like a better experience across these calls and others that we'll be pushing out to YouTube and Twitter. So I got some special shout outs. I've actually completely missed two, so I'll get to them. But firstly, engineers, thanks for bearing with me while I get up to speed on product and the process around product delivery. It's wonderful to see. We joined this call yesterday, and it's awesome to see how well functioning and how cohesive the team is. So I'm really excited to be part of that, and thanks for having such a good attitude around bugs and the process of solving bugs, which is really awesome. Liam, just for generally positive vibes and good energy, I just wanted to say you're a good friend of mine, mate. You're a very good friend. So that was just sharing the love a little bit. And then the two ones that I missed out on that I wanted to share is that, so Dean Munn, we just had a call with him a second ago, and he shared some amazing insights and perspectives on our scores and the product that we're going to release. And we really value those conversations because it helps us to build a better product and prioritize the right features and so on. So maybe just a quick call to action: if there's anyone out there who has a really strong opinion and who wants someone to talk to, please reach out. We'd love to have a conversation, share what we're working on, and learn about what you want. And then the final shout out, which I have left out here, is Joel. So Joel has been doing some incredible work. You would have seen him in the Discord. He's there thinking about community and thinking about comms, and he's just been bringing some super amazing ideas on how do we make our comms easier to consume and better quality. And I just wanted to say amazing work. It's really cool to see your enthusiasm, and it's really good. Cool. So then I think the final thing is just challenges. I just wanted to this is kind of coming from the conversation from Dean, but we want to get really close to passport holders. We want to understand what they want, what they don't want, what are their motivations, and what's going to drive value. So I'm setting myself a small KPI, which is to have 2 to 3 conversations per week with people from the community and people who maybe don't know about ARCx, in order to really understand what value we want to build. And so that's just going to be ongoing. But other than that, I think it's all pretty clear for me. So yeah, that's it from me. I will hand over to whoever's next.
I think that's community. Joel, sweet. We actually start for you.
Yeah, hey guys. First time on here, so hello to everyone who I haven't spoke to. Hugh, thanks for the shout out. That's 2 weeks in a row now. So yeah, cheers. Last week, it was the FAQs and social cuts. Some of you may or may not have seen them. There is one up on the YouTube if you wanted to check it out. This week I'll be aligning with Hugh again and just going through some ideas we had. And then I'll be going on to the social cuts again, just doing a slight redesign. And also working on a community members of the week post that I spoke about with John. And again, just shout out to Liam, John, and Hugh for helping me get up to speed with everything. And yeah, looking forward to chatting with the rest of you soon. Nice and quick for me.
Thanks for that, Joel. Don't think we have anything on the treasury side. So that marks it. But yeah, just like closing thoughts, it's a really, really exciting time now because for the past like how many months since we decided to go into this on-chain reputation identity direction, we built all this like infrastructure to just reach the point where we're at. But now we can really start showing the magic of what we built. So the next few weeks and months are going to be very exciting. We have the right talent in place, which is often the hardest bit. And I always like to think of you want to focus on the things that don't change, which are the people. And like we've got a great set of people around ARC, so very, very bullish on the future. But anyway, that's about it on mine. Thanks for everyone joining in today, and see you all next week.